All right, here we go. This one's going to be a 10mm test. Today we're going to be trying out some of my hand loads. So for the first one, that one is the 155 grain Speer Gold Dot. There's what that thing looks like. I did load it in your standard Starline Brass, and we are pushing around 1,500 feet per second. And for the second one, that one is the 165 grain Gold Dot. That one does have that same brass, and this one should be moving a little over 1,400 feet per second. So we'll see if we get that today. So we are going to be testing it out of our Glock 40. That one does have that 6-inch barrel. We'll be going through our gel. Those are 10% calibrated blocks. Do have our catch block behind that. So a total of 22 inches of gel, 4 layers of cotton t-shirt on the front. And like always, we'll set up our chronograph so you can hopefully pick up those impact velocities. So let's set up and see how these rounds do head to head. First one up will be that 155 grain. All right, we're sitting back to 15 feet. All right, let's see how we did on that one. All right, so it looks like our impact velocity on that one was 1523. So that's pretty much right where we load it for, which is awesome to see. You know, a little bit north of 1500. Back in the day, Underwood used to load this one. It was at around 15. That was if you're lucky. You know, lately, especially Underwood, they're really underloading everything. But anyways, 1523 is a great number for sure. All right, so there's that hit. Looks like I got a perfect shot on that block. You can see right down in there and a really nice star pattern so far. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, definitely looking really good. So it looks like as soon as that thing came in, started to open up really nicely. You can see where we got some really nice disruption through there. And then maybe about halfway it did start to settle down a little bit. Still getting some really nice spiral cuts going through. And then you can see where it kind of flatlined. And we made it into that second block. So that's always good to see. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here from the top. Like always, we'll cut these open later, get a little bit more accurate cross-section measurement. But while we're out here, we are right at 3.5 inches. So that is awesome to see. That's pretty much right on par from, you know, what we're normally getting for some spicy 10, spicy 357 SIG. So awesome to see that these hand loads are working out for me. But anyway, so there it is from the side. Pretty much same thing. This is a bonded bullet, of course, so we're not going to get any shedding of, you know, petals or anything, unless we really push it. But you can see came in, nice spiral cut, ton of energy dump, going all the way. And then you can see maybe that last probably quarter to half inch where it did pretty much flat line. And then you can see that slug. It looks like it opened up really nicely too. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here from the side. Looks like from the side we are about 3 inches, so a little bit less from the side than the top, but still very impressive. It is a nasty track. And then hopefully you guys are able to see that. It is facing forward, which is good. And at our leading edge, we are 3¼ inches. So that made it 14¼ inches of total penetration for that one. So we're gonna set up for that 165 and see how that one does. All right, we're sitting back to 15 feet. All right, let's see how we did on that one. All right, so impact velocity on that one was 1435. So once again, that is great to see. I was hoping for just anything a little bit north of 14, so that's great. And like I said with the previous one, Underwood used to load this one, and it was rated for 14. And like I said before, like if you're lucky, you're going to get that. But as of, I had an old batch I did test, and you know, we were still just shy of 14. So it's good to see that these are actually making it for what I'm loading them for. All right, and there's that hit. Looks like got another perfect shot on that block. And you can see another really nice star pattern. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, pretty much same thing. So it looks like as soon as that one came in, it's dumping a whole lot of energy. It almost looks like it's doing a little bit more than that 155 grain. The 155 just kind of stopped quick. That one is going towards us. I did completely flip the block. I just didn't want these tracks to collide and you know, mess up our good view of these tracks. So that's why I did flip them. But you can see dumping a ton of energy. Looks like it's carrying it pretty much the whole way also. Through that first one, maybe that last inch or so, it did start to flatline, and then there it is in that second block, and there's the one on the right hand side. But really good to see. So let's see what kind of measurement we have here from the top. And it looks like we are at 3. Let's see, we're about 3 1/4. So that's really good to see. I believe that one was 3 1/4, 3 1/2. So awesome stuff there. So let's check this one out from the side. And oh yeah, looking really good. So hopefully the camera's picking this one up. So it looks like as soon as that thing came in, started getting some nice expansion. It looks like you can see a little bit of that fabric right there at the beginning of that track. But man, we got a nice star spiral cut going all the way through, dumping a ton of energy. And then like I said, it is flatlining just a little bit, and then it is resting in that second block. So it's good to see that we're getting a little bit of penetration too. I do have some of these loaded for 40 super, quite a bit hotter. So I doubt we're going to get as much penetration. These are pretty much optimal velocities right here. So let's see from the side. Our measurement is just about 3 inches. So just a slight bit less from the side than the top. But, you know, still really good to see. And then hopefully you guys can see this one is this one here on the top. They basically all, you know, pretty much came or penetrated about the same amount. Looks like this one penetrated about 3 inches. So I made it 14 inches. I think that one was 14 1/4. So that is awesome to see. So what we're gonna do is do one more view from the top. I'm gonna flip the block back over so we can get a better look. All right, and here are those tracks. Hopefully we're not making this too confusing, but this one going away from us is that 155 grain, and then the one coming towards us is the 165 grain. So here is that 155. You can see came in, opened up awesomely, dumping a ton of energy. Getting those really distinct cuts going through that gel. Did make into that second block. It is that one there on the top. And same thing for that 165. Came in, opened up. It looks like this one is carrying the energy just a little bit further. But of course, it is a little bit expected. That is a slightly heavier bullet, so it's getting that energy a little bit further out compared to dumping it, you know, right off the bat. Same thing, that one did flatline towards the end, and then that one is resting right there, and it is that one on the top. So really good to see. So let's pull these rounds and see what they look like. All right, check these things out. Looks like they both got some absolutely awesome expansion. Looking really good, and it looks like they definitely were very close to their breaking point. So the one on the right was at 155, one on the left was at 165. So here is that 155. You can see, man, that is some nasty stuff right there. Peel those petals right back. You can see that signature gold down in the center. But check that out, man. That is pretty crazy stuff. Kind of looks like a shuttlecock or the birdies from badminton. The way that thing kind of opened up. A long time ago, T and Outdoors did test the 180 grain from Underwood. It almost looks the same. Little meteorite kind of going through, but man, that's a pretty mean looking round for sure. So that one was the 155. And then here is that 165. Pretty much same exact thing. They are almost identical the way they look. This one did, it's not as uniform. It did look like it pushed one of those petals in underneath that base or towards the base. But that is one nasty round for sure. And those velocities are right on par for what I was hoping for when I loaded them for. So that's also really good too. So great to see how well they actually performed, and that we're doing a pretty decent job. But there they are one time from the bottom. One on the right was at 155 grain. One on the left was at 165 grain. And last time from the top. So like I always do, guys, we'll get our still shot, slow-mo, everything here at the end. But once again, those ones were 10 millimeter Speer gold dots. Those ones were my hand loads, 155 grain versus 165 grain. Thanks again for watching, guys. All right, so there's that cross section for that first shot. This one was that 155 grain. You can see we got some really nice spiderweb kind of star pattern going on down in there. Huge cuts for sure. Really nasty looking stuff. So I did remeasure these. They are peaking right at the 4-inch mark and averaging right around that 3.5-inch mark. So definitely pretty impressive for what it was. You know, a little over 1,500 feet per second was great to see also. So let's cut this one open. All right, so here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right side and this top is the left. So basically with these ones, right at that 1/8 to 1/4 inch mark, they're starting to open up. You know, pretty much on impact, they're opening up. And then you can see that huge pattern going all the way through. This one did drop quite a bit of fabric in there. You know, those hollow point cavities from those gold dots are huge, especially the 155 grain. But yeah, we got some really, really big splits. Nice clean cuts down in there. Pretty much just like all the gold dots do, they always leave a real distinct cut mark through this gel. Same here on the top, you can really see where it came in, started to parachute open, and then dumping that fabric. Kind of looks like lead, but it's just fabric. But same thing, huge path going all the way through. Big old cuts going all the way in that gel. Let's do one more quick angle. Stuff was very impressive. And it's cool that, you know, I actually loaded these myself. It makes it more a lot more fun testing some of this stuff, just to see what we can actually do. But you can see those nice cuts, nice clean cuts. Still some nasty stuff, but very uniform cuts down in there. Same on this side. Pretty crazy. So that one was at 155 grain. All right, and here's that cross section for that 165 grain. So this one's basically identical. You can see that nice, perfect star pattern in there. Pretty crazy how clean those gold dots cut through this gel compared to you know, some others. Perfect five-point star. But anyway, so I did remeasure these. They're exactly the same as the last one. So peaking right at the 4-inch mark and averaging right at that 3.5-inch. So very impressive stuff. So let's cut this one open. All right, and here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right side and this top is the left. So you can see pretty much like that last one, right around that 1/4 inch mark where it started to open up. Parachute open. This one does have a bunch of little black flakes in it. It's actually the fabric or cotton t-shirt. You know, like I always say, I mark it with a Sharpie just so I have kind of you know, aim reference or an aim point. So it looks like we hit it pretty direct and it drug all that stuff in, but there is quite a bit of it in there. But once again, really, really deep, clean cuts going all the way through, like super clean. Just crazy, man. I love those gold dots. Same here on the top, came in, opened up. You can see quite a bit more of that fabric, and once again, another huge channel. I probably wouldn't push these any further just because, you know, how they ended up opening up, and they were pretty much right at that breaking point. This one was a little over 1,400 feet per second, so that was my goal, and we definitely got it, so that was really cool to see. But yeah, nasty stuff for sure. Let's do one more quick angle, just so you can see how nasty that stuff really is, if this gel will cooperate. But there you go, you can really see those cuts now. Crazy stuff though. And definitely a really fun test. I enjoyed doing that one for sure. But same on that side, you can really see how deep those cuts are and how much of that fabric it actually brought in. But anyways, that one was that 165 grain Speer gold dot, and that one was the hand load test. Thanks again for watching, guys.